So everybody, welcome here and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Varun Patel and I'm the CEO and founder of the Spokes Digital, and we are leading provider of the digital marketing services to cannabis and CBD clients. And today we are presenting paid media mistakes are costly, as you can see the title of the webinar. So we have presented various topics in past, and I think that is a very important topic if we look at the cannabis and CBD industry, because certainly, this is a very challenging industry, and we all need to know what is right, what is wrong, and what are the things that we are doing wrong in this industry. So we'll go through it, and we'll explain you what we have learned from running paid campaigns in cannabis and CBD industry. And we'll talk about our experiences and common misunderstandings we found working with other clients. I think it will help you all to strategize your paid media campaigns in a very maybe effective manner, and will help you to generate more revenue and ROI from your campaigns. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom chat, and we can bring them up during the presentation. And we will also have some time for questions at the end. So now, without further ado, I will turn this over to Lauren. She is the presenter in the beginning, and I will take over the presentation in middle. And Lauren is Chief Growth Officer of the company, and she is a very credible and expert on the subject matter. And I think she will start this, and then I will take over. Lauren, it's over to you now.
Thank you, Varun. So welcome, everyone. And I just wanted to give a little bit of background about Spokes. We have been doing in the digital marketing industry for more than 8 years now. And a little over 3 years ago, we decided to dedicate our practice to the cannabis and the CBD industry. So we find that it's very interesting. That's why we kind of dedicated to that, and the challenges make it very interesting. So we appreciate sharing our experience and our learnings with you. That's why we have these webinars. Just move on to just talking about paid media advertising itself from a digital marketing perspective and the growth that we've seen year over year. So if you look at this chart, you'll see the growth that's expected from 2019 to 2020. And actually, the media channels are spreading out, so to speak. So they're leveling off, except from 2019 to 2020, for example, with the influencers. A lot of money was spent in 2019 and not so much 2020, and that's why I say it's leveling off. But let me go over to the left side here, just talking about the different types of ads. And you may not be familiar with all of them, but it's a good time to just talk a little bit about what each one of these is. So the search ad is when you're interested about a topic and Google is now like a verb and a noun. You can Google, let's say you're interested in cannabis near me. So you'll type in cannabis near me into the Google window, and that would be your Google search. And maybe some ads would come up, maybe they wouldn't in the search results. A display ad is sort of happens after you do a Google search, and then Google knows that you're interested in something, and then you'll be in a totally different website, and you'll see a display ad come up that had something to do with something you had done a Google search on, maybe an hour ago or just prior. The paid social, these are ads that you'll see on, for example, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And you see, for example, in Facebook, you see them come up as, you'll see the little sponsored just under the title of the entry, the news feed. And then, of course, you have the email and the SMS, which is the text messaging. So this is, you may think that this is more old-fashioned now, the email or the text messaging, but it is quite effective still. Moving on to focusing just on the cannabis, the U.S. cannabis advertising spend is really predicted to increase steadily over the next 10 years. Right? So we've seen an increase in the last couple of years, and we expect that to continue. And here, this U.S. digital ad spend, we see here that there was an impact in the digital ad spending from the coronavirus. So if you look at the right on these line graphs, the red is, I'm sorry, I'll start with the black. The black line is what was forecast in terms of digital ad spend before the coronavirus. And now you see the red line is a different forecast based on what we found from March to June. The coronavirus, actually, there was less digital ad spend in the last few months because of the virus. Now, I'll have to say, though, from our experience, even though these statistics show that there was less ad spend, we have seen a huge uptick in the revenue from our clients who are selling, obviously selling online. They've really enjoyed a good uptick in their business with the online sales. Here's more evidence that advertising is big for CBD and cannabis. So looking at the keyword search trends on the CBD side on the left here, you can see this is data over the last 5 years. So you can see that there's increased keyword search trending year over year. And then you see right here, since the coronavirus, there's a lot more keyword searching going on. And see a similar trend for the cannabis as well in the keyword searching. It was kind of steady here, and then there's an uptick in the last couple of years around mid-2017, and it's been pretty steady through 2020. Okay, now let's get to our agenda. When I turn this over to Varun, he's going to be going into some of the details of what we've seen in paid ads, different types of paid ads that we've had experience with, as well as what learnings we've seen. So for example, common misunderstandings. You look at everyday missteps and that are impacting the performance and the potential. And you also look at the limited channel execution. So you need to look at the overall picture and look at which channels are really performing. And Varun's going to talk about different channels that we use in the paid ad campaigns. Then measurement failures. This is really important. First, tracking the performance of the ad, tracking it well and tracking it properly, right? Knowing what attributes are important to the paid ads so that you know that the paid ads are performing well or not. And then he's also going to talk about some remedies, some things that people do, some mishaps or some misunderstandings, and he'll talk about things that we've done to remedy, I'll call them mistakes, but there's also learnings because everything is a learning process. common misunderstandings. So this looks like a long list here, but I'm sure that any of these you can relate to if you're at all. So yeah, this is a laundry list of common misunderstandings. The paid ads are not allowed for cannabis and CBD. Well, Varun will give you some examples that they are, and we've been doing them for over 3 years. The big brands run the market. There's work with small companies, and they do very well with the paid ads. And I'm not going to go through every one of these, but you can take a look at each one. For example, click-through rate is the most important metric. Well, there's other metrics that are important as well, including the quality of the traffic that you bring in. For example, you're really honing in on the right keywords that are going to bring the people who actually buy to those paid ads. And here's some examples of paid ads that we have done. Can you see this slide? Looks like it's didn't skip.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, all right, thank you. So the paid ads, the myth is that they're not allowed for cannabis and CBD. Well, they are. So these are just some examples. So this is a search ad. Remember I had talked about the different types of ads. This is another search ad that we did. Both of these are around the 420, time of 420, which is kind of a holiday in the cannabis industry. These are more like display ads that come up when you have searched on something and then the display comes up because Google now knows that you have an interest in, let's say, CBD pain relief. That's something that you may have searched on. And then these are other types of ads that we've done for CBD and cannabis clients alike. Now here's a case which is actually from one of the search ads that we just showed on the previous slide. So this is the 420 sale of a search ad for a product that allows for pain relief, aches and pains. Again, it's the 420 sale. So just looking at the Google Analytics, and you can see the benefit of this ad. So we ran the ad from April 15 to April 20, because that was the 420 sale. And then this chart also compares what did the user activity just prior to that period. So you see the blue line is the results from the ad, and this is revenue, and then overlaid with the red or the brown line, there was the period before the ad was run, so that was not having the paid ad sale. So the revenue is a little bit lower. Next one, next type of ad that you can run is specific to a demographic group, such as the veterans or senior citizens. Now this was a dispensary, and you're focusing on that age group, and you can see the Google Analytics here, how that created an uptick in users and activity. So the seniors and the veterans were drawn in based on the keywords that we had running for this ad. Here's another type of offer, a free gift. If somebody comes in and makes a purchase, let's say they spend $60 or more, you can offer a free gift. So here is the Google Analytics around that, and you can see the number of impressions. Some of these ads did a little bit better than others in terms of impressions. But when you look at the conversion rate all the way here at the right, all of them did very well in the 70, 60%. This one did 24%. But it did bring in the right quality of traffic of folks who actually did purchase. So here's another example of a CBD client. This is a volume discount offer. So let's say you have a cream that helps with pain or discomfort, and you sell 4 at a time. So you buy 4 and you get a discount. So buy 4, get a 20% discount. You can see that over here. The next on, is the online dispensary client with a BOGO, buy one, get one free offer. And again, here's the comparison of the blue line is when the ad was running, and the red line is when the ad was not running. So you just see the benefit of running the ad in terms of the user bringing in the users as well as the revenue. So the revenue here is up 117%. Now, one of the misunderstandings that we had talked about was the big brands get all the love. So if you look here, these are actually, I'm going to turn it over to Varun here.
Oh yeah, thank you, Lauren. So we'll talk about the misunderstanding. So the major misunderstanding that Lauren was talking about and in the cannabis and CBD industry is that it is not allowed to run ads on cannabis and CBD. But we have, as an agency, innovated the ways to do the paid advertising around Google and Facebook and other channels. So that was the first point Lauren was talking about. Second point here is like we always believe that as a startup or as a mid-tier company, we don't have much of the budget, and we don't stand any chance against the big brands. So I think it's a misunderstanding, because if you have a very I would say a value proposition, and you have some products that are like that are very exceptional in nature, so we can always win the war against these big brands, and you don't need to have a big budget to do the paid media ads. And the only thing you need to do is to highlight that what is the quality of your product or the experience that users have. We can talk about maybe the unique selling propositions, maybe the features of the products that are unique and that are better than competitors. So that will reward you in that way. And you can see some example here, like Facebook average cost per view and GDN is like, so you can see all these clicks that we have got for our clients. They are very cheap in nature, and we have competed against big brands. And there is a case study after this that I can prove that we can actually compete with big brands. So this is an example of one of the client who is a CBD client, and they were a startup company, and they wanted to test their B2C I will say audience, and we ran the campaign, and you can see the performance over here. And we just ran campaign on one of the product that was a unique product that was solving problem for the age group 45 plus, and especially to women. And we targeted especially the women and who were 45 plus, and we got the very staggering results. You can see that it was an Independence Day sale that we ran just on 4th of July, and we just spent $2,500, and we made almost $12,000 on revenue. And you can see that the return on ad spend is almost 452% that we have achieved, and average transaction value is $68. So it was a huge success for that startup brand, and we made a lot of I will say the revenue out of the media we spent. So we just spent $2,500. It's not a big amount, and anybody can actually spend that money as a test budget, and can see that how it is working, and that actually works. Let's go to the next slide, Lauren. The next misunderstanding is that engagement metrics is a true indicator of success. I don't believe on this, and we as a team don't believe that Engagement metric is very good to see, like how many users are coming, how much time they're spending, how many pages per session they're visiting, what is the click-through rate. But overall, the objective of a paid campaign is to get sales and get revenue. That is the whole, I will say, focus. And so I want to see that, okay, how much money you have spent, how much money you have made, what is the cost per order, how much is the return on ad spend, what is the cost per conversion. This is the main metrics that we would like to see, where we can make a decision, instant decision on the returns. So that's the main thing about the paid media campaign. Let's go to next slide, Lauren. So you can see over here that when we see a case study, I think the above metrics shows the like engagement, like how many impressions we generated. For example, 58,000 impressions, we got 1,200 clicks, and it's like we spent a lot of money, like $6,000 and all this stuff. But if you look at the overall return on this ad spend, it was very low. So I think because we have huge impressions and clicks, and it did not actually translate it into the sales. But if you look at the Bello chart, here you can see 694 users, and you can see that overall conversion rate is like 6.22%, and that is the like conversion rate on the people who are purchasing. And then they have got like 72 transactions out of 694 people. 72 people bought the products, and we generated revenue of $9,742. So we can see, like, even though we have less number of users, we have good revenue, versus we have spent like more money on top and got a lot of impressions and clicks and CTR, but it didn't convert it into a lot of revenue for the client. Let's go to next slide. Yeah. So again, the next question I've seen with the clients, like, I don't need paid media. So some people feel that we have good organic presence, and it's sustainable for my business, and we believe on word of mouth, and we have nice products, and we are building our organic SCRP rankings. We are increasing our social media followings, and we are actually very price sensitive and all that. So I think that is not the real way of thinking digitally, because the right mix of paid media, on media, and earned media is actually going to give you a sweet spot. And that is a media 3.0 strategy that we have to follow as an e-commerce person. And that is most important feed, because it's overall end to end, I will say, strategy that will help you to grow your business. And we can see in the next slide. So next slide is all about showing you that how the paid campaigns are like top three revenue generating source. So we can see Google in this slide. Google Organic and Direct are the first top two sources. But if you look at the top three, like Spokes PPC, this is the third highest revenue generating source. And we can see we only have 754 users, even though we have like 146 transactions, having a conversion rate of 10.56% and generating revenue of almost $25,000. And you can see that how highly relevant our users are, and having 11% of conversion rate is very high in this industry. And this is not the only thing. You can look at the like number fifth, that is also paid. So number three and number five are two paid sources out of the I can say like top five maybe revenue generating sources are the like two are the top paid and three are the organic and direct. So we are actually very profitable. Next is like misconception is like, if you don't buy your impressions, then someone else will. So I think that's the truth, because if I was competitor, then probably I'll be thinking about, okay, how can I capitalize on research impressions of your brand, and how can I maybe take that benefit. And you also know that Google is an advertising platform, and they show the ads on top. So for example, you are a brand, for example, you are known as Canna brand, and I am probably the company that is in a delivery, and I'm doing a paid ad. So what can I do? I can take benefit of your brand, and I can run ad on Canna brand, and I can show my ad on top, and it will show on top of your search, your SEO, because I'm doing a paid media campaign. So I will steal your impressions in that way. So we can always actually lose the impressions and traffic if we don't do the paid campaign. Display geofencing can be done, social media can be done. So I think we have to be very vigilant about the search impressions of our brands. And you can see in the next slide. So I think if you are not doing, so this is an example. You can see this there are competitors for the ad we are running for a client like discoverforia.com, Standard Dose, Olivella, Total Health Reports, and Amazon. So this is for one of the client. We are running paid ads. So they all are bidding on the brand terms of our client's brand. And they are actually taking away the traffic. So you can see impression share, like 35% of the impressions were taken by Discoverforia, and that was actually loss for our client in that way. So this happens, like if you leave your search terms, you don't run ads, others will bid on this and will steal your traffic. And sometimes you think it's very expensive. So I think that is also a mix, very kind of a mixed kind of a misunderstanding, where this is not about that it is expensive or not. It is all about how much ROI you are getting from which keyword, and which campaigns are actually giving you most returns in that way. So you have to look into that. And I think um, it's not expensive. It's just that you have to see the returns. If you have a keyword that is maybe $6 per click, but if it is giving you a conversion for $70 of sale, I think this is not expensive for you. It is just that you made maybe $60 of revenue out of that. So you need to analyze that what does it mean by expensive, and we need to choose the right keywords, like long tail keywords that are high intent keywords, where users can type and you can show yourself and you can get the sale. It's all about that. How do you play around your digital campaigns? So you can see here, this is an example from one of our clients campaign, and we can see like keywords, and these are some of the keywords we're bidding on: the clicks, the impressions, the average cost per click, and the cost spent, and the cost per conversion. So this is like, even though we have cost per click as like $2 and something, we have been able to actually get a lot of conversions, and cost per conversion is very low. So cost per click is 2.1, but cost per conversion is like $2.5. So that is a very low cost per conversion because of the high relevant keywords we are using for the campaign. Then next misconception is like no one clicks on the ads, and because everyone wants to go to organic. And this is not true, because uh, because if your targeting is very I will say specific, and I think if you are having a very right audience that you are going to maybe advertise your products to, then I think this is not that nobody will click on this. There's a higher chance of getting a click and getting a sale if you are focusing on right target audience, right kind of geofencing is done, and right kind of keywords are being targeted. So I think you will get the right kind of clicks as well as the conversions. So that is something is very important whenever you are targeting your campaigns. The next, you can see on the next slide, this case study, targeting right keywords. So that's what I was talking about. You can see the right keywords you were targeting for maybe Foria, and then we saw that these are the keywords you should target and get the right kind of traffic and who's looking for us, and sell the products. So that is something, right kind of targeting, that you have to find out on brand, non-brand, generic terms that you can target. This is one set of example, but other set can be generic in that way. Next. Next is like no one browses at night. I think that's also a misconception, because there are a lot of people who actually go online during the night, and they can make a purchase. And as an e-commerce store, I think we should sell 24 by 7. We should allow users to maybe get us whenever they are free, whenever they want to browse. So and I think you can see in the next slide that how it has impact for our clients. So you can see here like hours. So we have given the example of one of our client, like 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. and all these hours are like late night hours, and we can see our clicks are there in the night. Even the impressions and clicks and the CTR you can see is like almost 7 to 10%, and cost per click you can see that is also like low, and we have got a lot of good sales during these hours. So I think it is about knowing that which kind of audience from which kind of geography are coming to those hours, and maybe targeting those specific windows of time. And in this time the competition is also low, so you get the clicks at a lower cost and you get a good conversion from those clicks. Next. The next is like margins are razor thin. So maybe some people think that some of the business people are thinking that if we spend money on PPC, our margins will reduce further, and we won't make any money on the sale. So I think that is also one of the misconception, because we have to see that, okay, what is the for example margin that we have from our product, and what is the average order value for our products. So I think the only thing is that to design a kind of a landing page, you guys design a right ad, design a kind of landing page that shows that ad, and then maybe giving user right kind of information, and maybe giving user a kind of product to purchase. So for example, if you say that your margin is $10 from selling one product that is costing you, for example, $30, and you are saying that the cost per click is $5, so you are saying I'm spending $5 and our margin is $10, so I'm losing 50% of my profit. So I think the best way would be to increase that profit would be to combine maybe three products that are of $30 and making that $90 of a combo, and then maybe getting that user who wants to buy the same product and giving him an offer. So you are getting a click from the same buyer who, and you are spending $5 on that click, and then you are selling a product worth $90 because it's a combo, and then you're getting 10% discount, and it means you lose $9 on discount and $5 on click, so you lose $14. But overall actually you are making $16 from that sale. So your ROI actually is very very high. It's like almost 300%. So you need to think about that what is something that can work for you, and that is a better way to market yourself and to plan your paid campaign in that way. Please go to next slide. So you can see here one of the client we are working with has a similar kind of issue. So we are giving you example like May, June, July, and we can see the spend and revenue and the return on ad spend. So we have done multiple ads with multiple offers and multiple kind of promotions, and we have got revenue like staggering revenue. Like we spent $10,000, got a of $100,000. It's like almost maybe 988% return. And similarly, you can see that returns increasing on month over month. So we found a right kind of a strategy that helped us to get a lot of revenue and sales for our clients. Next. So next misconception is like my pay-per-click campaign is going to impact my organic rankings. I think that's a straight no, because it never happens. There are a lot of people I have seen that they start spending a lot more on Google ads, and their organic results increase. And I think that's the true thing. If you spend more on Google ads, their organic results will increase, because Google as an algorithm boosts your overall presence so that users can actually get to you maybe in a way, not only through paid ads but also through organic ads. So I think if you're not spending with the Google and your competitor is spending on Google, so he will win not only the search impressions on the keywords you're not ranking on, but he will also gain on the organic ranking. So he will benefit on both fronts. Next. So SEO plus PPC is equal to success. So that is a true thing. We have seen the kind of same results for our clients. And when you run the Google campaign, I think it improves your SEO. And you can see in the next slide, there is a case study for one of our client. Go to next, Lauren.
Okay, sorry.
Next, please. So what are the benefits? Benefits are like when you get PPC campaign running, you get a lot of keywords and conversion data from PPC campaign that can be integrated into organic search strategies. And I'll say, so that is something we can do for a long-term perspective. We can use the results from A/B testing, ad copy, and landing pages, and we can improve our landing pages on the website. We can test the keyword strategy in PPC before we can maybe use them for the SEO campaigns. So all these things can be done to improve overall presence of a brand. And next slide will show you as a case study. So you can see here organic results and paid results. So we were running campaign for one of the client, and you can see that their paid revenue has increased, and their users, new user sessions, everything has gone up. E-commerce conversion rate has gone up, and with that, you can see the Google organic users and sessions and revenue have also gone up in a same ratio. So if we increased our paid revenue by 16.42%, that's almost 17%. The revenue from Google organic also increased by 17.9%. So the growth in paid was proportional to the growth in organic, and that is you can see right here as an example. Next, please. The next misconception is pay PPC ads are not specific to my customers' needs because we are a small business. I think that is also a misconception because you are even though you're a small business, you have some compelling proposition to offer, and we have to target the right customer. And we have done it for our client to benefit from that strategy, like grabbing a buyer who need your product rather than maybe any other products. So please go to next slide. You can see here for a startup CBD client. So you can see the ad and that we are showing over here, and you can also see the revenue growth maybe by spending 6,000, 13,000 and $9,690 in 3 months, and the revenue growth in that way. Like we started with 200% ROI, then went to 234% ROS, then went to 300% ROS. So that was the overall growth for one of the startup client we have worked with. Next, please. The next misconception is like position what is most profitable. I think that is also misconception because you don't need to be at position 1 to make money, because sometimes you get a lot of irrelevant clicks when you click on when you go on the top, because anybody who's searching for something, you see you are on top and they'll click on it, and you just spend your money on irrelevant clicks. But if you are on a second or third position, you probably get only the users who are highly relevant and who are looking for something that you are offering. So you can see in the next slide, you can see here, like for example, Medman delivery, Medman Pineapple Express delivery, and so it's like there are some keywords on which we were probably not ranking on top. So you can see the second last column, that is impressions by absolute top percent. So you can see like say 76% times like we were on top on some keyword, and then next keywords are like 65.8% times, and then Pineapple Express delivery is like 97% times on top. But you can see overall the cost per conversion is actually going to be, and cost per conversion and cost per click, everything is going to be low for the keywords that are not on top. So that is something we can see here. And that is something is very relevant for our clients in that way. Next, Lauren. And next conception is like we need to spend more to rank better. I think that is again a strategy where a lot of people who start campaigns, they spend a lot of money and put highest budget, but that is not a good strategy, because we don't need to spend more to get the highest rank. We need to just be very high on relevancy. So if you look at the like quality score concept, so if you have like good quality score and you have a low bid on that keyword, so if you probably multiply that bid and quality score, so that if you have that score higher than someone who has a lower quality score and higher bid, you'll always rank better. So there's an example that you can see that how someone is ranking high. So is this example, you can see that the keyword with high position like Apothecana cream and keyword with low position Apothecana extra strength body cream, in that way. So it's like sometimes you are on top, but spending more money, but CTR is going to be low, and your cost per click also going to be low. So that is something is very important. So we are paying less money. We are just paying $1.77 for Apothecana cream, and we are paying $4.71 for the Apothecana extra strength body cream. And just because that we are paying less here, and we have higher quality score, we are actually more profitable than the keyword that is in the town. Next. Then misconception is like setting up your PPC account and forgetting it. I think that is also a very bad thing to do, because once you do that, actually you leave your account to the lot of risk where you lose a lot of money, because you are not optimizing it. So there are a lot of times you would have seen in Google that a lot of recommendations come to your account that maybe fix these bids, maybe use those keywords, maybe optimize your landing page for the mobile. All these recommendations come to you. They are coming because of the reason that Google sees, or maybe other accounts see a lot of areas to improve on your campaign, and we probably need to fix all those things. It's not that once you set up the campaign and like it's for lifetime. You need to work on it on everyday basis. So if you go to next slide, here you can see maybe the Google, when we set up a campaign, uh, Google gives you recommendations every day, and every day you can see those recommendations and shows you that how optimized your account is. So this score is for like us like 86.4%. So our account we were running was 87% optimized, uh, and I think if you leave this like on an automated mode, probably this score would be very low. So you always need to be above 85% on any campaign that you run on the paid media. Next, please. The next misconception is like exact match is always more valuable than the phrase or broad. I think there's a misconception, because exact match may be more valuable keyword theoretically, but I think it all, or maybe it's always depends on that what is your objective. So either you want to maybe spend a very small amount of money, and or the next is like, if do you want to scale your business. So if you want to scale your business, and if you want to spend more money to get more sales, I think this is not the right way to do as exact match. You should always have a keyword strategy that can help you to scale, rather than being on exact. So exact plus maybe broad and phrase, or a mix of all the keywords would be good for you. And you can see in the case study here. So broad match keyword performance, you can see like Apothecana. So that is of course driving you good clicks and impressions and good CTR, and you are paying $2.12 per click on this. And in the next, but we also have keywords on phrase match, because and the exact match so exact match has both phrase and broad to drive the performance. If we would have left maybe broad and phrase match, and then we would have also lost a lot of clicks and impressions to our competitors. Let's go to next. Yeah. The next is like, with broad no other match types are needed. So I think that is not a good thinking, because uh, predominantly this is the account structure that we have to follow. We should have the mix of the keywords like broad match, because broad match don't have more control. We spend a lot of money on broad match, and I think we need to have a right mix of a strategy to have a broad match modifier, and that can have phrase match and exact match. So we this like, how can you optimize your account level by level, phase by phase. You launch with broad match, and then probably you maybe introduce the broad match modifier and phrase match, and we always do these optimizations based on search query results and all that. And we can see in the next slide over here. So you can see here, this is the like search term report generated for one of the client, and we can see that that all these match types are coming like exact match. On the second column, you can see like search terms and the match types, the exact match, phrase match, they're coming, and we have added these into our accounts, and you can see that this has given us good impressions and clicks and good CTR in that. Next slide, please. Then next is like CTR is the most important ad metric. So I think CTR is a good metric, but I think it's not more. It's like not a most important thing because we have some other metrics also that is most important for us. For example, conversion rate. That is something that we can have to look at, and I think we not only have to see CTR as a goal, but we should have that. What is the conversion that is happening from that click? So CTR is not a primary goal. It can be a secondary goal. So you always have to look at that, like either clicks are relevant or not, and either these clicks are revenue or they are just bringing traffic to your website. So you can see the metrics over here. So the top 5 KPIs that we consider for the paid campaign success is like cost per click, click-through rate, cost per transaction, transaction rate, and return on ad spend. So you can see this left side, we have seen not only the CTR, but impressions, click, CTR, average cost per click, then transactions and transaction rate and cost per transactions, and then the revenue, and you can see the cost and return on ad spend and average transaction value. So this is very important, like having conversion data on the right. So I will say right side 2 columns like are most important than the just having CTR data and engagement metrics uh, to analyze. Next, please. So position preference. So I think it doesn't matter to be on top or in position 1 or position 2 or 3, because what matters is like who is your target market, which keywords you're targeting, and if you're getting a right kind of a customer with the high intent purchase, high purchase intent, then I think your campaign is successful. And that is the most important parameter for us to do that. And keyword positioning should be decided on a keyword by keyword basis. So you may want to be on top for a keyword that can be like, for example, buy CBD cream, buy CBD pain cream, and not on the keyword like CBD cream. So because CBD cream would bring a lot of generic clicks to your website, and there won't be any maybe sales. But I think if you have maybe a keyword like very high, for example, muscle CBD cream for muscle pain, it can be the keyword, for example, that you want to be on top because it has a very high purchase intent, and you may want to be on top for that keyword. So it depends on keyword to keyword, and we can always optimize the campaign based on that. And you can see in the next slide where we are seeing the same kind of result from like Papa and Barclay, Weed Maps, Delivery are 2 keywords. So Papa and Barclay is a good keyword, and ad position performance you can see is good in that way for, and that is the may not be on top because so that is on top. You can see like impressions absolute percentage is 100%. So Papa and Barclay keyword has given us 100% on top, but for Weed Maps Delivery, we are not on top. We are just on like 38.64% times we are on top. So on second last column. So this is a strategy based on the keyword, like which keyword we want to be on top and which keywords we don't want to be on top. Next, please. Sometimes we think like we should always trust automation or not trust automation. So I think automation is one of the things because Google is moving more towards AI, and I think we should always utilize the scripts and bid rules. And if you do that, it helps you to actually control your campaigns during the hours you may not be focusing on or you may not be working. So I think you can use those automated bids and scripts to handle your campaign in a better way. So please go to the next slide, Lauren, and I think we can show an example. So you can see this example over here, and we have written some kind of rules and scripts for one of the client, where you can see that we have giving a command like, okay, enable campaign, uh, for example, when your maybe budget is Maybe so it's like you can see this and all these rules. You will see enable campaigns are the rules, and the conditions that we have given are the conditions. For example, enable campaign uh, when you, so like for example there are three campaigns running, and there are two campaigns that are disapproved by Google or by some other medium. Then we are giving a rule that if these campaigns are disapproved, enable other campaign. So we have given commands based on various maybe conditions we have seen in past for disapproval, for maybe for example for budget, if we have extra budget that is not spent on some kind of campaign, then we move that budget to other campaign. And if we are not monitoring those campaigns, so during those hours, these rules and scripts help you to optimize your campaigns. And you can see it over here that paid search is the top performing the channel for the campaigns over here. And this these channels, and you can see these automated bits and scripts have helped us to actually make paid search as a top channel for performance, and direct and organic search are the like second and third in that way. So it always helps to use that. Now I think the we are finished with discussing on misconceptions. So I think till now, if you look back, what you have been trying. So I have seen like a lot of people who are trying like Facebook boost post, and I think then mini campaigns like 30-day campaign, Google AdWords gives some coupons, or seasonal push on all that. I think if you have done all this and it hasn't worked for you, then I think that is something uh, you should not have done, because this is not a right way to do the paid campaigns. And 30-day campaign in AdWords is nothing. You can't even optimize the campaign. You can't even find the right kind of search term reports and option insights in that. So you need to be doing these campaigns for longer durations. It's a long kind of long term kind of a game. If you're doing seasonal push, I think this a lot of people do that, but it would not be a kind of a long-term strategy. It is a very short term, and you may lose to the people or competition who is doing like a regular campaign on paid media. So if you do that seasonal campaigns, you would always lose to them, because they are having very refined structure. They are having very optimized kind of a campaign, and they will always maybe gain more kind of a revenue out of their campaigns than your campaigns. So this is always very important. Let's go to next slide. So how you can build a comprehensive media strategy is like one common goal is, for example, what is the common goal is sales, always a revenue. Set up that goal, set up the KPIs as we talked about. KPIs would be your click-through rate, your transaction rate, return on ad spend, cost per impression, cost per conversion. Then impressions, you have to measure that how, and who is seeing your brand, and then seeing that what is the revenue generation, how much are worth to us. Then nurture the customer maybe for the repeat purchase, and that is very important. And first purchase is a very important aspect, because first purchase is a very important KPI versus last purchase. So see that either first purchase for a customer, and what is driving that customer. Then reputation management in terms of your reviews and feedback to your website, and repeat sales. If you target on the remarketing and retargeting, then it will help you to get repeat sales from those same customers. Next, please.
I just want to do a time check. We have a little less than 5 minutes and a few questions. So
Okay, so I think let's do the questions, and then probably we can. Okay, so I see Kelly is asking who are Christine. Okay, so this is a different thing. Okay, what is ideal ROS for a client should expect? So Suzanne, I think ROS again depends on industry, but I think 200% to 300% is the ideal ROS if you launch the campaign on first month, and if you do well, I think you can expect to go up by 500% in next 3 months. Mari is asking if PPC boosts the SEO revenue, then should we stop doing SEO? I think this is again I said SEO plus PPC a right combination to do. It's not that it's stopping SEO or stopping PPC. It's right mix of channels that we should always go with the digital plan. Do paid ads increase my organic ranking? Yes, Jordan, they improve your organic rankings, and that has been seen historically. And algorithm of Google is designed in that way. What if exactly my keywords are getting less click and impressions? Should we still continue using that? So as I said, that each keyword strategy is important. Like it depends on the keywords you are targeting. They should be exact or phrase or broad. So I think if they're not driving revenue, we should always pause them and see the right kind of keywords. Then Chad is asking, is max CPC the preferred bidding strategy? No, it's not bidding strategy because we should always focus on the highest quality score and lowest cost per click so that we can get the right position. How much time minimum budget should I spend to start advertising for CBD business? I think minimum budget should start, as I told you, like we have seen these slides in the presentation, like $2,500 has given a $10,000 of revenue for one of our client who was a startup client. So I feel at least $2,500 should be the minimum budget to start in the beginning, and we should scale and we should add more budget as we move further. So everybody, thank you and thank you for joining us today. Um, and if you have any other questions, I think Aaron has one more question.
Sorry.
Okay, so Aaron is
Sure.
asking, yeah, can you please share the yes. So Aaron, we will share the presentation with you.
It may take a couple of days to clean it up and upload it for the group. So I'll
And please reach out to us on the our coordinates. That is like our mobile number, our email IDs, or LinkedIn. So I think LinkedIn is the best way to catch up. So we can discuss if you have any issues on your paid campaigns, and if you're facing any kind of issues on running paid media ads for cannabis and CBD brands, please reach out to us and we can discuss and we can help you to make them live. And I think that would be a great start to be start getting some success through paid media campaigns for your brands.
and all of these webinars are available on our website, thespokesdigital.us, under the webinars and events tab. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.